Hi everyone, welcome to the Cafe Bowl Home. And today I am going to be walking you through making a flower arrangement of peonies. So I have two sets of peonies. I have some dark pink peonies and I have some blushed colored peonies. I have set the peonies in a jar of warm water and I have my vase that I'm going to be arranging the peonies in, which is the white um, beaded vase. I have some newspaper spread out on my wok top. That's to reduce my cleanup time. So I am trimming. I am trimming the stems to make sure that it's fits into my vase, and I'm taking off some of the leaves, the foliage off to give it a cleaner look. You can leave on foliage based on the look that you're going for, but I wanted a clean look, and right now I'm just getting the lower greens off. I try to cut the stems in a diagonal direction, as you would notice me doing a bit here. Cutting the stem in a diagonal direction allows for the flower to soak up more water and plant food. One of the reasons why I take off a lot of the foliage on my stem is to allow more food and nutrients to go to the flower rather than the greens. The greens are really not valuable for this display, so it's just going to be the taken away from taken away from the flower arrangement or the flower itself. So I'm just trimming off some more greens here. And before I started recording the video, the peonies were the bulbs were all closed, so they hadn't bloomed. So was my first time working with peonies. And when I bought them from the flower wholesale shop, they were all closed. And when I looked up some information about peonies, they are typically harvested before the bulbs open up because they don't last very long once the bulbs have opened up. So they're harvested before the bulbs open up and they're frozen immediately to then go for retail distribution. So what I did was, in the clear jug that I'm picking the stems from, the flowers from, I put warm water and I put the all the peonies in there, and it sat in the warm water for about 10 to 15 minutes, and the buds opened up, or the bulbs opened up to full bloom. Some of the some of the flowers are not fully opened, and one of the things that I did was I assisted the ones that hadn't opened up a little bit more, and you get to see that down down the line. So this is just me trimming off some more greens. I had an idea of what I wanted the arrangement to look like, so I'm going in and I'm trimming some more. Typically, when I create a new flower arrangement, I like having some greens to it to bring more color and vibrancy into the room and space. If you look right behind the white vase, you would see the roses that I had done previously, and I had some eucalyptus to add that vibrancy for the greens. And eucalyptus also brings a fresh fragrance into, or a clean fragrance into, the space that you would be placing your flower arrangement. I purchased this peonies from a whole flower wholesale shop in Garland, Texas, but typically I pick up my flowers from Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's tends to have some good ones. So right here you see me dipping the bulb in some warm water as well, and I am walking the stem between my hands. That's to open up the bulb a little bit more, and then I'm teasing it a little bit with my fingers. And then just trimming a little bit to make sure that it matches the rest of the stems that I trimmed earlier. So typically I like to take out the foliage first before I arrange, so it makes it easier for me. As you can see, I have my cleanup bowl right there in front of me where I am putting all the leaves in and also trimming my stems into. That way cleanup isn't a hassle when I am done. And this is just me making sure that all of the stems have similar height because it's going to impact how the final arrangements look in the vase. And I hadn't put water in the vase at this point. I typically like to get the arrangement done first and then put water in the vase. That's also, once I'm done, I also determine how much water I want to put in. So, if you can share some of the tips that you have used in the past for helping your flowers bloom more, please share in the comment section. You can share my videos, give the video a thumbs up, and you can also suggest some things that you would like for me to do or show you when it comes to home cleaning and managing your space, any tips and tricks that you'd like to see. It took me a while to get to this arrangement because I had had a busy week. I ended up getting the peonies because someone asked me to work on a project for them. I might put that video up at a later time. That was a lot of roses that I had to put together. And this particular bulb that I have in my hand didn't really open up. So as you can see, I'm just trimming the greens, but I'm going to do a little bit of work on it to get it to open up a little bit more. Um, so one of the things that you can do besides dipping them in warm water is you can go ahead and use your fingers to like flex and ruffle the bulbs open, which is what I'm doing here. Another thing that you can do is you could pull some petals out. Um, I wasn't sure if I wanted to pull some petals out from this particular bulb because it was quite small. Um, but then as I was teasing it open, I was contemplating and I eventually pulled out like one or two petals to give it some space for the other ones to open up. So that's me pulling some petals, and you have to be firm when you pull the petals. It's actually funny that I did not dip, or it blows my mind that I did not dip that particular bulb in warm water and try to tease it open with some water. So now I have all the stems and the greens cleaned off. Now I'm going to focus on arranging arranging the flowers by color essentially so that they contrast each other. They're not just sitting in one spot having the same color. I wanted it to bring vibrancy into the room, to brighten up the space. and I like to play around with it a whole lot. Sometimes I might do something, arrange it in a specific way, and then come back after a while to just change it up because it's not working for me. So the beauty about making flower arrangements yourself is you can play with it and move it around until you're satisfied. It's not about getting a perfect um arrangement. It's about getting the arrangement that makes you smile, that brings you joy, that brightens your space. Um, that's the goal here is just enjoying the process. I'd never worked with peonies before and I wanted to do something different and just dip my toes in this pool, I guess. I typically like to work with roses. They're easier, they're more affordable, they're common compared to peonies. Peonies are also very seasonal. So you can only get them at a particular time of the year. I don't think they're around for a long time compared to roses. Um, so I just wanted to do something different for a change. And another trick is I like to use the smaller bulbs on the side and use the bigger ones in the middle so that because they have a lot of volume, so they take up space. Um, that way the smaller ones can just be on the side and support from the side. And sometimes I might use a rubber band to hold stems together. Um, this is just me checking out.